Hello there. I had an inquiry asking how it would be possible to pause, temporarily halt, some running VBA code um, to allow, say, another operation to complete or the user to have some sort of input. Um, and so I thought it'd be quite useful to do a quick demonstration video on this because unlike languages like Python and C++, which have built-in library support for sleep operations, um, VBA by default doesn't. And so it's a useful operation just to demonstrate a bit of code and then how we use this in real life. Now, all the code I'm going to demonstrate here is on my blog, and that's energyanalyst.co.uk. Just go there either directly, or I'll put the direct link to the post containing the code that I'm going to write in the little notes below this posting. So, without further ado, I've got a sort of vanilla install of Excel in front of me here, and we're going to write some code. So you need to load the code editor, the IDE, either by pressing Alt and F11 on your keyboard, or going Tools, Macros, Visual Basic Editor. And you'll get a window much like this. And we're going to add a new module. So come up to Excel Objects, left click to select, right click, and you're going to go Insert Module. And we won't bother renaming anything over here, we're just doing a one-shot deal. So I'll just expand it up. Now, you'll see in the other examples I've given where, say in Python or C++, you have a concept of a main module, which directs, if you like, is the first entry point for the block of code or that code flow to run. VBA doesn't have such a concept, but to keep consistency between the modules, I'm just going to show you how we're going to use one as a proxy. So the first thing I'm going to do is I shall write sub main, and then Excel nicely capitalizes and completes the subroutine. And then we're going to do, as I did on the blog, basically I want to give a message box up to say something along the lines of starting to sleep. Then we're going to do the code which does the actual sleeping, the pausing or the halting operation. And then we'll just return back to this main function and return, say, awoken and ready to run more code. So we start off with Excel, so we'll just do a message box. And we'll have the text starting to sleep. Now obviously this is a very simple example, and you obviously can wrap this up in any other form as you wish to do. Also what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the function without any argument. So when I come to the sleep section, I won't pass in a number. What we can do, of course, is tell Excel that we want to sleep for, say, 5.5 seconds, 10 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever it might be. I'm going to leave that blank, and I'll just show you how to do it when you come to do it. And then we'll say awoken and ready to code. Okay. So that gives us the framework. And what we want to do is let's write another module, another function. In fact, I should say another subroutine, which is going to call it sub sleep. Just get rid of that. And so sub sleep is going to simply say, take our current time, whatever that might be, and we're going to add on 5 seconds to that. Okay, so that will give us now, and it will give us some point in the future. So that's the basis of it. And then we're going to say, while the times are not equal to those, so now plus 1 second is not 5 seconds, plus 2 seconds is not 5 seconds, so on and so forth. Wait until you get to 5 seconds in the future, and then keep running. So to do that, I'll just set up a new object, and we'll make this object be now. Now this now is a variable within VBA, so it basically just gets the current date and time. And then we're going to add a time value onto that. And this time value, string, is no hours, no minutes, and 5 seconds. And see, Excel recognizes now, and it recognizes time value and sort of capitalizes in this camel case. If you wanted to pass in a different time, now we could either do it as a function argument, so we could do something into here, so pass in a variable, maybe you've got some dynamic time you wish to pause for, or you wish to say prompt an input value, something like that. So you could pass it into the argument, the function argument, and then we would just redefine whatever the time value was in here. You see, I've hard coded this for simplicity. Now what we're going to do, so we've got an object which is basically now plus 5 seconds in the future. So we just want to wait until that time arises. So I go while, and I'll say now is less than, wait until, and then we're going to, now you'll see in the notes I put in the blog that I comment this out. So it's called a thing called do events. What this will do is this will liberate or free up the I think it's a thread to do other operations on. So if you're using Excel, you can start doing other stuff while this is waiting. And if you run the code with the comment on and comment off, you'll see what I mean. I tend to comment this out for safety. Plus, I don't really want the users in particular to be able to do stuff while we're waiting for this operation to run. But feel free to experiment by taking off. And then we just end that. So there we go. So I'm going to come back to my main sub now. So just to run through what this does before I do. So we've created this subroutine. It's a bit of code. We call it sleep. Feel free to call it whatever you want. Doesn't really matter as long as it's not a protected name of Excel or VBA. We've made this object called wait until, and that takes in the current date and time, and then appends onto that 5 seconds in the future. Again, feel free to modify this to be an hour in the future, whatever you wish to make it. And then we say a little while loop. So we say while now, i.e. now is the current time, is less than wait until, and again, feel free to change it to less than equal if you want to. We are going to just loop through this, this while loop. Once we get to 5 seconds in the future, the loop now passes, and we pass the next line. The next line has nothing in, so we return back to the subroutine here. So I should just call sleep. And now, if I close this down, close that down, come into Tools, Macros, my main, I run, starting to sleep, okay, wait 5 seconds, and it's awoken and ready to run more code. And that is how we pause Excel VBA.